Hello, welcome back to JJ's Bakehouse. Today I'm going to show you how to make some mascarpone chocolate buttercream. This is going to be really nice. So on my channel you've probably seen that I have a cream cheese buttercream, which is a unique method to myself. I stumbled across this playing around one day and it's fabulous. So it's a way of extracting the water content from cream cheese, and mascarpone is very similar. So I'm going to show you how to do it with this one. But once you've learned the method, you can use it with any kind of cream cheese. It doesn't work with the block ones because there's not as much fluid in that. That's how they manage to stand up quite so block-like. But this is really good. It gives you perfect buttercream. So pipeable, not runny, really good. So I'm going to get started. I've got here 230 grams of unsalted butter, and my butter is, you don't want it, when I press it, you don't want it to be really sloppy. It's got quite a bit, it's got resistance to it, but not enough that it's not leaving an imprint in the top, and it's not going to hurt my mixer either. So it needs to still have some resistance. So that's that. My mascarpone, the same as if you're doing this with the cream cheese. I've had it out the fridge now for half an hour, just to half an hour, 3/4 of an hour to let it settle. So I'm just going to measure out 150 grams of this. Not sure what the tub was. Oh, bits of water already. When you take it out of the fridge, already some of that water starts to come out. Actually, I'm just going to make that 160. Lovely. Right, let's put that to one side. Okay, so now that's going to go straight into the mixer, like this. Then I'm going to be adding the butter bit by bit. So what I'm going to do now is, me telling you isn't going to help. So I'm going to pull the camera in closer so that you can see what actually happens inside of this mixer. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, you can see that in there. If it becomes too noisy, I'm going to, my door was closed. If it becomes too noisy, I'm going to flick off the volume just because it might get a little bit too much. So I'm going to start this up. There we go. And then, one more. So I'm going up to a medium speed, and then I'm going to start to put this butter in. So bit by bit. So I've got about 3 chunks going in there, as you can see. And then we need this speed. That's a medium to high. And then we're just going to keep going. You can see I'm adding it bit by bit. Oh, where are you? The consistency of this, see, when I'm pushing it, bit of resistance. And what we're going to look for is it's going to curdle. This is looking good now, it's coming as a lump. There we go. And I'm just going to keep going with that and add in the butter. Quite a lot of water flying out of there. So what we're going to do now is stop for a moment, and we're going to drain some of this. Okay, I've got a sieve here. I'm going to just move all this back a little bit so you can see there's a lot of water in there. Right, there we go. Got my bowl here. Where can you see? There. And then we'll tip this, and all the water there is coming out. There we go. I spilt some on the desk. So don't push it, because if you push it, it's going to get trapped in here. So we just leave that to drain for a second, and then you can see in the bowl here, there's still some in there. So we need to wipe that down. So you can use a tea towel or some blue rolls. I'm just going to clean this down. Right, so we transfer this back in to the bowl that is now dry. So drop this down. I've still got another couple of chunks of butter there. So I'm going to put these bits of butter in. So we're going to start back off again. Put the other bits in. And then we're going to wait and see if much more comes out. Okay, we've got some around the outside, but it's fairly happy there now. So what we're going to do is just do what we did before. We're going to drain it back through, and then we're going to whip this up. So I'm just going to drain this off again. Okay, so I've drained the last little bit, put it back in, and now we're going to whip this up until it comes back to like butter, which it will do now because the water's come out. There might still be a little bit flicking around, but I'm happy enough. Oh, look, the camera's going a bit on and off. It doesn't know what to do. There we go. So now we're going to put this on a medium to high speed, and we're just going to keep it going, and I'll show you in a moment when it gathers back up again. Okay, now you can see it's come back together in a form. So really that took about 3 or 4 minutes for it to stop sticking to the sides. So now you can just let this go until it's really light, white and fluffy like you would do with normal butter. Right, and we're done. So now this looks like what you'd normally have as your buttercream. Oh, it's butter, sorry, when you've whipped it up. It's light, it's fluffy, but now you've got all of that cream cheese in there as well, the mascarpone. You smell it, it's lovely. And now you've taken the water out. So let's, before we put the icing sugar in, let's just weigh this out. And let's see what we've got. So put my little tub on. So what was this? This pot was 250 grams, it said. And I've got 35 grams of liquid out of that. That's quite amazing. So there we go. There's your 35 grams of the pesky liquid that is what ruins your buttercream with mascarpone and cream cheese. So this really, really works. I really recommend it. Right, so now we're just going to make buttercream as usual. Because I'm doing chocolate here, I've added 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and I've got 500 grams of icing sugar as well. So we're just going to add it as normal. Add it in 3 parts. So I'm going to add the first lot. We're going to put it on slow because we don't want any more air in there. We've whipped and whipped and whipped that enough. So let's take this out. We're going to put this on a slow speed until this is just incorporated. There we go. And then I'm going to add some vanilla as well because I really like vanilla with chocolate. So I do like that. This won't take 2 minutes. Make sure that you always put this over the top because you will get covered. And it is going to be a little bit stiffer than usual. You've taken a lot of the water out of that. But it's going to come together really, really nicely, and this is going to have such a nice chocolate taste to it. If you don't want to use the chocolate, just leave it out. Use the method, put extra vanilla in, and you'll have a vanilla one. Right, that's incorporated now. Now in with the next. back. I think I'm gonna need to add some vanilla to give it a little bit of fluid, which is ironic with mascarpone and cream cheese. So I think you have to add a little bit of liquid, not something you really think of. See my icing still coming. Lovely. Right. So now that's come together, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of vanilla to this. That's just that little bit of liquid. I'm going to add the last, and then we're just going to keep this going for about 4 or 5 minutes on a low speed until it's completely all incorporated, and then we'll be done. So I'll be back to you in 5 minutes. Keep it low speed, remember. Right. So now let's pipe some of this in. So this in the piping bag. I've got a couple of cupcakes there. Look at that. And the hold on it as well. Right, I'm using a 1M. Just to show you. Right. Look at that. It's not runny. And that way you have got perfectly pipeable cream cheese buttercream. So this was mascarpone chocolate buttercream, but you can use regular cream cheese, mascarpone, not have chocolate, add other flavours to it. And don't forget, 35 grams of the liquid has come out, and that's why this is stable. So I will see you again soon. I hope you've enjoyed this. Take care. Bye bye.